Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Vetter, and I do technical product marketing things here at Pivotal. And I am joined by Mike Villager from Dynatrace. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Dynatrace?
All right, so my name is Mike Villager. I am a senior technical partner manager over here, and one of the really neat things that I get to do at Dynatrace is to handle a lot of the technical topics that we approach with Pivotal together, right? So it's a lot of like, how do we properly take advantage of Dynatrace in a Cloud Foundry environment? I've recently dove pretty deep in the concourse and have become a huge concourse fanboy. So I've created a couple of concourse resources, a couple of workshops, and things like that. I've got a blog post that'll be coming out here in a couple of weeks, probably mid June. So be on the lookout for that. And it's always a pleasure to communicate with my friends over at Pivotal.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, one thing we talked about during our prep is the work I've been doing with Concourse CI as well. And as much as I'd like to spend our time talking about that, we're here discussing Agile and specifically the journey that Dynatrace took around getting products and features in front of your customers faster and really starting to shorten that feedback loop between Dynatrace and your customers. So maybe talk a little bit about your journey, where you started and where you ended up.
Dynatrace has definitely been on this journey for some time now, and has participated in industry studies and things like that about agile transformation as a software delivery company. And to talk about some milestones along the way, we've kind of chosen the date of 2011 as kind of like the before, and 2018 the now as the after. And in 2011, Dynatrace was primarily delivering a shrink-wrapped piece of software that had two major releases a year. Our automated testing processes were could be improved, and we obviously, being a piece of shrink-wrapped software at that point in time, we didn't have a lot of daily deployments, right? But one of the things that we saw impacting both us as well as our customers was, this transition to the so-called cloud native application delivery models and things like that. And we found that the technology space, that the tools and things that our customers needed us to monitor were being developed at such a rapid pace that we needed to change ourselves in order to be able to evolve quickly enough to address our customer needs, right? So, what has happened is, we've undergone a pretty significant product transition to a kind of an alternative delivery model where we have a SaaS mechanism as well as a pair of on-prem delivery models. And then what we've done is, we've transitioned from having those two releases a year to having 26 major releases a year. And in making these changes, we went from having, 100% or nearly 100% of our production defects being detected by customers to now having 7% or less of our defects being detected by customers. And now, in the past, obviously, we had no daily deployments, whereas now we have 5,000 plus deployments happening on a daily basis.
Wow, that's great. And there's certainly a lot to unpack there and a lot of directions we could take this conversation. But I'm thinking that a lot of people are listening and thinking, wow, 0 to 5,000 daily deployments. That's, how would I ever get there? Maybe you could discuss some of the key milestones and key moments along that path that Dynatrace took.
Yep. So one of the main things that kind of happened along the way was um, a shift in product strategy to incubate and then release the new Dynatrace product. And it was the fundamental architecture of the Dynatrace product and the techniques that we used to deliver it that kind of allowed us to make that rapid change. And then along the way, there was a lot of staffing changes that happened. One of the things that you and I didn't talk about in prep here, but one of the interesting things is, Dynatrace has a DevOps team, but really the actual operational model is something that we call NoOps. So our DevOps team, their primary reason for existence is actually kind of enabling and disabling feature flags, right? So as we iterated over this new piece of software, some of the things that helped us get to this new point is relentless pursuit of automation. So, and nearly anything that could be automated became automated. Implementing automated quality gates around both functional testing, which obviously everybody should be doing. If you're not, that's kind of like step zero. So we should all be doing that. But then extending those automated testing suites to then in turn encompass performance and business metrics as well. Right. And our fundamental idea here is that, in order to uncover defects quickly, we need to be able to deploy quickly, and we need to be able to identify defects quickly. Dynatrace is obviously going to be at a advantage there because we obviously have access to our own software in order to help us deliver said software. But really it's about being able to detect any regressions that might occur and being able to take action on that automatically, right? So obviously, being able to detect a regression as early in the life cycle as possible. And, the best way to avoid a production bug is to actually automatically catch it before it gets to production. But we all know that production defects are going to happen. Like it's pretty much impossible to have zero. But the whole idea is to be able to detect those and deal with them as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the no ops idea, but I'm thinking that's probably going to be quite a political hill to climb for a lot of organizations. We'll have to come up with something better for a term, maybe some ops or something along those lines. So we talked a little bit about where you were. We talked a little bit about where you are now, and then how you got there. Maybe you can discuss a little bit about what comes next for Dynatrace. What projects do you have in the works to continue this journey?
Agile method.
Yep. So so if we start thinking about things as kind of steps, right? So some of your steps along the way are to obviously automate testing, and then you're going to automate deployments, and then you're going to add more testing coverage based on including things like business and performance metrics, right? And these things, give you some great outcomes like, 90%, 97% less developer lead time to get a release in the prod, right? But as we start to look towards, okay, well, what happens now, right? What happens next? Now now we've got 26 major releases. Now we've got 5,000 deployments a day. What happens if something does escape, right? So, where we're looking to go next now is, okay, something does escape, now what, right? So now we're looking into automated problem remediation. So being able to detect the problem, and then based on what, Davis uncovers as a root cause, right? Since Dynatrace as a product, we have an automated artificial intelligence that actually does root cause analysis that we've nicknamed Davis, or actually named Davis. By utilizing that, then now we know what caused the problem, right? And now we can actually take actions to resolve it, right? So if we look at, kind of runbook automation is one of the ways that, based on the root cause, an action that would have required an operator to do something in the past, let's eliminate that, right? Let's eliminate the operator having to uncover a problem and then deliver the solution. Let's actually automate that so it happens instantaneously. And one of the ways that we're getting there is by consulting customers, consulting the industry and things like that, we found that, there was kind of room for a tooling to create automated delivery pipelines, right? And rather than delivering the actual pipelines, we've built a framework for interacting with that tooling, right? That we've called the Captain Project. And this is something that's, fully based on Knative. It's cloud events that are passing back and forth. It's totally open source, and we're hoping that it gets picked up soon as a CNCF incubator project. And what we're looking to do with this is to basically have, deployment type, the pipeline itself, as well as remediation actions and monitoring strategies, all being part of your code repository. And then this is an opinionated implementation of pipelines to get the code, the artifacts that your CI tool has created, to actually get those into production in a nice, automated, and reliable way. And then if something does happen, it's going to be able to take action on that for you for the vast majority of problem patterns detected in production.
That all sounds really interesting, and well, obviously we could deep dive quite a bit into Davis and Captain and maybe Captain Davis. That'd be an interesting project to kind of merge those two things. But maybe give the folks some information about how they can learn more. Do you have a blog, a Twitter? Can people follow you, stalk you online?
Sure.
Where can they learn more about Dynatrace, that sort of thing?
Yep. So obviously, if folks want to learn more about Dynatrace, we've got a number of blog posts that are specifically around some of these same topics that Tony is talking about here, and obviously, the blog can be accessed at blog.dynatrace.com or www.dynatrace.com/news/blog. Like, there's any number of different ways that you can get there. Obviously, as I mentioned before, probably in the mid-June timeframe, I'm going to have a blog about some of the things that I've done recently to enhance my Concourse integrations. And then if folks want to learn more about Captain, Captain is the website for Captain is kettn.sh. So that's the phonetic spelling of Captain. So and then obviously we'll be coming to a meetup or a conference near you to talk about some of these things. We're specifically kind of on the horizon is obviously SpringOne platform, and we'll be actually delivering a Captain workshop at SpringOne platform. So make sure that you come to SpringOne platform early and attend all the workshops on Monday.
Yeah, that's great. Will definitely be in attendance on that one. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Appreciate your time, and
No problem.
looking forward to learning more.